Welcome to the Wolfpack friends, as we take the newest druid class into some unavoidable danger and discover we can deal some very unexpected damage as we dish out more finishing moves than the King's March prostitute. The filth levels are through the roof as we see public pussies, old men being serviced by King's March prostitutes, monkey nuts. So insert yourself into my beckoning clam and enjoy some insane damage on this, the Wolf Only Run. Who are we? Wolf Lundgren. Named after everyone's favourite Russian boxer. Now, Dolph Lundgren is a real... I actually really like him, by the way. I will be giving you some of my favourite Dolph Lundgren movies as this goes on. There aren't that many, I'll be honest. He's got a pretty poor back catalogue. But he's not the only one. So let's get into it. I absolutely lost it on that intro, by the way. So something about forcing myself to say King's March prostitute. Well, there you go. Expect nothing else from me at this point in my life. So we're playing the druid. This is brand new to patch 0.4. I'm sure you've seen at this point the druid being played. So the druid has actually immediately options to choose between different forms. Now the plan was to do wolf only. I can't get wolves until very late in the run, but I am a wolf, so it doesn't matter. So for once I'm maybe actually going to have some fun with this run. Oh, actually, taking a bit of damage there. I mean, the animation looks incredible, by the way. It looks super cool. And this is easy mode. Is this even going to be a challenge? Well, you'll see. With my playability, absolutely slapped. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm probably the weakest looking wolf in the land. I do try some of the other skills just for fun, you know. I wanted to see what they look like. The volcano skill in particular is very, very cool looking, so I'm quite interested in maybe doing some more druid runs. Fine with Diablo 2 especially, the druid has just got so many different builds you can choose from and have fun with. So very much looking forward to that. I'm really not very good at this game at this point, but fortunately good enough to get past the very first encounter.
Friendly's the name. You're skilled with the violence against this devourer.
Great, actually great voice actor, Renly. So Lunar Assault is an interesting... Well, I'm not a great fan of the limited... I mean, Entangle's there, which is going to be very cool. There's definitely going to be a resurgence of my Vincent Vine cock, my Poison Creeper only. So each of those skills pretty much falls into one of the different forms. And attack damage is really the way we're going to have to go down this route. I mean, I wish they wouldn't have nodes like that. It's so pointless. Damage stuff I like though, and there's some interesting other notes here. Whack on some of these goods and wares, and you can see here I am starting from complete scratch. I've got 8 gold to my account name, so this is a brand new season with the new patch. So I'm as weak and pathetic as my wolf-like form seems to be. Although actually with just a level up or two, and with a few decent items, my life has gone up to 95, which is a lot more survivable than when I first emerged from the river. So this little houndstone arrangement is the new Vaal temple. So we'll have a quick look at this. I mean, for those that know, it's been completely ruined. There's a lot of content creators that I happen to chat to, and they are not very happy with the state of this season. The main issue at the moment is the fact that the Vaal temples are completely busted with the way that people have managed to meta it. But if that's what they want to do, it doesn't really bother me that much. I'm far too busy struggling against this beer bag. Now I've got the wolves against me here, which is not ideal. Fortunately, actually, the arena is big enough that some of the wolves can't even be bothered to walk over here. The damage is fine, though. Now I'm hoping this isn't going to be... I've heard that the druid is not great. Okay, so we are going to be doing our best to try and make it not suck. Maybe we'll just need to make druids great again. And we'll start by eating this head of the winter wolf. Gives us a little bit of cold resistance. Okay, nice. We'll take that as well. Now this is the worst possible chest placement I've ever seen. Oh, actually, in fairness, they managed to fit a quarterstaff in there, so I was going to say not very well hidden. So one of the things many of you will be very pleased that I've done here is put on an item filter. So I've just gone for the old classic one. I'm pretty certain it's the same guy who did my Path of Exile one. I've never really got into it. I have seen some people change their filter on multiple occasions, like when they get to better loot. I'm never going to get to that point, so I'm less worried about doing anything. But I do have at least an item filter, so I'm not picking up absolutely every piece of trash I can. The thing about the campaign, when you've got absolutely no money whatsoever, I'm bound to make some issues with respecs, and they cost so much money in this game, so I might just be compelled to pick up a lot of stuff that I don't want to, just to sell it, just so I've got a little bit of bank. So the Devourer here, I mean, look, now I've punched a lot of these guys to death in my punch-only run. Am I really that concerned? Not really. So the little cold meter you can see there on the left of the Devourer's health bar, it's the cold build-up from my Lunar Assault. So there's a lot we can do to try and buff that, and we'll try and do that very early with the unique item, I think. This is one I've spotted that looks quite good. But the freeze is very, very decent. And there are actually some nodes on the tree that improve your damage against creatures when they get frozen. So I'd quite like to lean into that, to be honest. I've never done frozen in this game before. There does seem to be a little bit of kind of frozen immunity once you've frozen a creature once. The same way there is with that kind of stun meter as well. So when you stun a creature, it gets a little bit of resistance to stun immediately afterwards. The Devourer here is really not doing very well against me. And the Lunar Assault, you can see, so every time I hit Lunar Assault and then use the Shred, which is that basic attack, it's dropping a lot of those little, like, special little beads. Not quite sure what to call them. They're glowing beads, but when they explode, it's damage. What else would it be? But more damage. That's what I understand. It's the language I understand. Love this little camp here. Smash it to pieces. What can I do with these gems? Absolutely nothing, unfortunately. I'm pretty much stuck with Lunar Assault. The other skills, as I kind of alluded to, are really other classes. So one is a bear skill. One, I think, maybe a wyvern skill. One of them is the druid, like vine skill. So limited with the skills we can choose. I've seen a lot of people with high-end builds, just 2 skills on the skill bar. So I don't think that's actually as uncommon as maybe I feel it is. I feel like when you get to end-game Diablo builds, you need so many skills being cycled through at the same time. So although the build-up in this game is a lot more complicated, I think end-game is actually a lot less complicated than Diablo 2. You can kill me over that comment if you want. Lunar Assault, Ice Bite there. I mean, it's all adding to our cold duration, cold build-up. All of those skills we'll be trying to add in as much as possible. And you can see there the little glass balls that are exploding after a short delay. Remember, I'm not quite sure why he's taking tiny tick damage. There's an element of kind of bleed that goes along with the attack. It might just be my shred. I think it is the shred damage. Oh god, that is terrible. But fortunately, the Bramblegast is about the easiest boss in the whole world to fight, so I'm in no danger whatsoever. So we can do a lot of frost. Oh my god. So yeah, no drama whatsoever, no danger for anyone with any skill whatsoever. Cheeky little level up as we smash some other fellow werewolves for the alpha status. Although alpha has been completely debunked within wolves, I think actually it's like the couples. It's almost like parents. So the breeding pair, I think in alpha you see a lot more like aggression in captivity, which is a great shame. I struggle to go to a zoo these days. And I'm not like an eco warrior, but I just always feel it's a bit sad. Just let them go. Let them leave and kill each other in the car park. Now that I'd pay for. Anyway, defeat the monsters. We're cracking through this. I feel like there's such a lot of emotion in this particular part of the campaign because of how dreadful it was in my punch only, and how saved I was by. Well, if you haven't watched it, I won't ruin it. But it was tough. And this doesn't seem so tough so far. Actually seems like quite good fun, which is appropriate for this time of year. Currently, well, I actually recorded a lot of this just before Christmas, and I'm doing the voiceover just afterwards, so I'm about 3 stone heavier. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. At that point, at least, I wasn't sure what was going to happen when all those lights go on. I imagine there'll be a party. Very satisfying damage. Actually not too challenging so far. The talismans are quite interesting. It's annoying that they're two-handed. There is an option to make them one-handed and have a scepter, I think, in the other hand. some, like, there's an offset, there's a negative to that. Anyway, let's concentrate on Rusty Red here. Really reminds me, I mean, I'm feeling a bit overweight after Christmas, but yeah, he really reminds me of an overweight pursuer from Dark Souls 2. So yeah, I'm actually working on a Demon Souls run now, so I'll work through a lot of the Souls games this year coming, which I'm looking forward to immensely. But if you notice, he really looks like the pursuer's kind of overweight brother. He didn't quite make it in the corporate world and spends a lot of time with his mother still. But he's still got his brother's love of weapons, but chooses not to pursue for quite so long because he gets really tired. So we've got a second. Oh, pounce. Okay, so there is something we can do. I'll tell you what, I'm not a great fan of the decals.
I need more time for that.
There, I do generally. I'm a big fan. I mean, ever since like the World of Warcraft, maybe more Warcraft 2 days, of like skills and the different like pixel art they used to have. They're very, very similar for the wolf. Like all of them look almost identical. I understand they want to make them thematically the same, but all of those could be interchangeable, which is a little bit annoying. So I've explored. Oh, you know, I completely forgot the fact that now I've got pounce. I actually get some wolves, so we have a wolf pack. Love this little bit here. So every time I pounce, there's a chance for a wolf to appear. I say a chance. I think it appears every time I do a pounce, if I'm not already at max wolves, which is at this point is 4. So you can pounce. The wolves, I mean, I'll be honest, they felt like they were bugged. I think it might be because my damage is just so low that they haven't even learnt from me how to fight yet. So this really is a problem with the alpha. Yeah, I mean, some of them I'm sure are actually doing 0 damage. So I'm not sure if that's the case that they take the damage of the pounce attack. I'm really not sure. But a lot of it will be related to my DPS. So this is a decent one. 10% increased damage is always nice. Actually, that extra stat point is always nice because you can block yourself a little bit in the early game with strength, intelligence, dexterity, depending where you go. So there's extra damage there. I mean, ever since I've seen how poor life regeneration is, like some of these nodes are so useless, I'm very reluctant. We'll quickly chat with Lakdan, and we have to head back because I do want to fight everyone's now second favourite druid behind Wolf Lundgren, the Rotten Druid. I've got to say, there's a little bit. I mean, I can't do Scottish at all, but there is a little bit that winces inside of me. I feel the voice acting gets better as the game gets on, but there's a lot of I can't do it, and I'm not sure if as someone who knows a few Scots, it doesn't sound quite natural. One of the big issues is it's too easy to understand, and most Scottish people are really difficult to understand when they're talking, kind of fluently or at the same kind of cadence they'd want to casually. Then they're not quite as legible or audible. It's not what I'm looking for. Understandable. What I do understand, the Rotten Druid is getting his ass kicked. And thank goodness that the minions... Actually, the minions don't care. The wolves are just running straight through it. And here's a good example of how I think the sprint mechanic needs to change some boss fights. I should be forced to sprint here, I think, in order to avoid that attack. They haven't quite updated it. I know it's early in the game, but when I first played this, it was tough. Opening move. So that's just an opportunity for when I jump in with pounce, it dazes people. So some of them, hopefully, they will be a bit dazed. I'll be honest. At the time, I'm like, oh yeah, daze will be good. I don't even quite remember what daze does now. But you don't need to remember to have a good time. You don't need to take your clothes off to have a good time. But it helps. The Vol Ruins. Okay, well, look, I'll do this once. Just have a look. So here's the map that I now know exactly how to meta cheese. I do not know at this moment what anything does, but I like the way it looks, and I chuck a lot of rooms on, and I'm not sure why some connect and some don't. I think for those who maybe haven't tried this yet, the trick is some of the rooms get destroyed every time you kind of load. So you get like a number of cards, I suppose you call them, when you build your temple, and then at the beginning of each like Val temple run, some of those rooms get destroyed. What people have found out, of course, that if you have a long chain, the middle of the chain will never get destroyed. So it's the ones at the end that maybe get destroyed. But it means you can make a very long chain of rooms even. Oh my goodness! And here's look, and the benefit of doing this is there's some amazing stuff you can do. One of the annoying things few people were discussing is that actually during the campaign, it's a really good way to get resources like exalted orbs. I mean, I was finding pretty much 1, 2, sometimes 3 or 4 exalts every single run. And some of these bosses, I mean, it feels a little bit recycled. I don't blame them for that at all. But I wasn't sure by the maybe 20th time that I fought this guy, sometimes multiple times, because of course this room might be replicated more than once. Like, do I want to fight this guy 20 times just to get these exalts and upgrade my items? I'm not sure. It would be nice in a way if all of the rooms were unique, and you could maybe just, by putting other rooms next to other rooms, they'd, augment them or change them rather than they just connect. You do get them like leveled up. Maybe I don't understand nearly as much as I'm claiming to, but all I can say is that loads of my items were getting massively over leveled. I mean, here I was basically there's no other item I really wanted to add, but I was getting look at all these additional damage mods. I was getting sockets on items. And this was this is very early on the campaign, and to have an item that's kind of that over-modded is very overpowered. And I'll be honest, I didn't really need to be that overpowered at this point, because I wasn't finding it too tough. Bit annoying to find a rare Nether Talisman. I actually feel that may have been a slightly better one. But we'll keep pumping damage. We'll keep grabbing what we can. And we'll go to Assault Slice here. I was actually wondering if he would spawn with the same mods as before, but he does look like it's different. I feel like previously we've had him as being able to occasionally make people invulnerable. Here we go. Lady Asinia. Always annoying, that particular attack. We're heading in here with 2 wolves. They're not really doing much damage, but hopefully they'll take a little bit of the aggro in some fights like this. Oh my goodness me, the damage is insane. And she's been stunned. I don't even need to worry about your man there. That was ludicrously easy. I mean, I've played maybe 5 or 6 characters up to this point. I guess I know I'm quite new to the game. I've not put the hours in that many have. But that was the easiest it's ever been. I mean, I don't know if this is something they just do. I just realised my people are going to get triggered by the fact that I'd accidentally turned my loot filter off there. But let's see if Draven's got more. I've never found that boss that easy, by the way, so in a way, maybe I hope Draven would be a little bit more of a challenge. This is meant to be a challenge run after all. But look, I'm in the mood to have some fun. I've had 2 very, very tough runs in this game. The punch-only one especially was very difficult. But both of them, I think, at points had some pretty cool moments. He's getting absolutely wrecked. That finishing move is very strong. So that finishing move in Shred is like after every 3 attacks. That's it. We're straight onto Lachlan, a fellow Scot. He reminds me a little bit more of my trips to Scotland, where people, someone who speaks English quite the way I do, there is an immediate dislike of me from any Scot.
This doesn't make any sense. He's dead. Those bastard Eternals.
Yeah, he actually isn't Scottish, by the way. He just got that kind of madness that you expect. But I remember once being in a pub, and I said, "Do you have any food?" And they said, "Haggis, nips and tartis." And I said, "Yes, that's good, but what is that?" And then she was like, "Haggis." Oh, haggis I've heard of. Neeps. Tatis. Now, tatis is potatoes, and neeps is Swede, which is basically very similar to a potato. I won't tell you what haggis is if you don't know, but Lachlan's had enough of it, and it's turned him into this absolute monster. But it was actually pretty good, I'll be honest. Not quite as good as the whiskey. Back in town? Oh, God. And Deckard's just coomed. How long? Yeah, that's the seed all over her. Unbelievable. The smarts. I don't want the channel to become like that, but I don't know. Well, that's actually pretty good. +2 to melee skills. You see, I'm really struggling to work out which. 60. Okay. Wait a minute. That seems pretty good. I'm going to use a Regal Orb. Okay. Yeah, stun build up. Feels good. Feels good, man. Might hold that. We'll get some sockets in that. Might be an improvement. It's a bit annoying in a way that my first Vile Temple, I was maybe over modding something that's going to get quite quickly replaced. But let's get this Ritual Altar. I'm actually finding this really good fun, by the way. If you have struggled, maybe, I know some of you guys in the comments from previous videos have praised me for my capacity to endure suffering, which you've had to do in this game as well. This is actually a really, really fun way to play the game. It's, I mean, this is a complete season start. It's not like I'm over-leveled with unique items or anything like that. I'm just playing the game as it's designed to be played, and things are dying really quickly, so I don't necessarily love it when it's too easy. It's not the easiest, of course. I'm still struggling at times. I still need to make sure I use my potions, but this to me is, for early game, a really nice balance of fun and difficulty and kind of getting through stuff and seeing new environments. Sometimes when you get stuck, which is maybe the first time I played this, I got stuck quite a lot at different bosses and died a lot as I was learning mechanics. Now it's a little bit easier, and maybe it loses a bit of the shine once you've done some of these bosses a few times. I know that's why some of you guys probably enjoy mapping, but mapping for the average person is a long way away. This fight, for instance, it goes on too long. They need to cut the length of the campaign down, and I think one way they do that is maybe making all... I mean, this is controversial. Make everything a little bit easier and make some of these boss fights, like this early bit of the King of the Mist fight, just get rid of it. Maybe like a pack or something or two. But otherwise, I just want to fight the King of the Mists. He looks a lot like another druid, if I'm honest. He's taking some absolutely mega damage. I do need to be careful because you can get very easily cursed, which I believe I am right now. And he can also just sit himself in a pile of goop like this. And he's down. He's in real trouble. That's what happens when you don't put safety rails up. Where's he gone? Oh, do you know, I've just remembered this is a 2-stage fight. I think one of the hardest things about this particular run was how bad my potions were. And maybe I was just using them a little bit too much. Like here, I'm having to drink pretty much half my entire bottle of red, my tomato juice, just to get my health glow back. Maybe my health is quite high and my bottle is a little bit under-leveled for where I am, but that's probably the hardest thing in the early game I had to come up against. A lot of that can be solved just by buying one at the highest level, which you can do quite easily. But I probably got a little overconfident in this run because I wasn't dying and I wasn't having to concentrate. So moments like this, I'm like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do here. Feels like I've just got to do anything possible not to take damage, but that's easier said than done when you've got my short attention span. I'm not going to just hang around here. Yeah, that's probably the poetic way to die. Best way to do is just not take damage, which I did in the second run through. And the King of the Mists is not going to be missed. Probably should be a little bit careful. I don't want to take just unnecessary damage there. But very nice. And look, this to me was a really exciting part. Finally, we're going to get some spirit. And we can hopefully summon up some wolves. Let's use that spirit gem straight off the bat. And I actually really like this ritual reward. I wish they do this more often, that you could, like, you know, based on the boss difficulty or whatever, you could choose your own reward. That would be a great way to have fun.
I'm here, love.
And this is cool.
But how?
It matters not.
It does not. See, that's a very nice Scottish. Nobody in Scotland speaks like that. You might get some very softly spoken person that used to live in Glasgow.
Fractured. There is still so much I didn't understand.
Didn't you?
Remember how we were drawn to him, believing him one of the Magi.
This is like a Disney version of Scottish. A bit more like a kind of brave. You were fools.
And when I
I'll try and do his next line in "Who should have saved you?"
That is not your
That's more like it.
grief made you
The
walk,
grief.
and yet
Like Groundskeeper Willie is actually not too far off. I say that I have been to Scotland a few times, by the way, and I am a quarter Scottish, so, or quarter Scotch, as I like to say, that winds up Scottish people. So Wolfpack, level 26. Oh, crippling! I'm so upset. I was really looking forward to hitting this pretty early on. We're going to get the Grip of Winter. We basically spent some money. This has got Really decent increased freeze build-up. There's a few other nice bonuses there, but it's the freeze build-up we want. Because it's the freeze that's helping to do a lot of our damage. And the immobilization is just at least partially trivializing a lot of the bosses we're having to go up against. The Crow Belt here, actually probably one of the coolest bosses in the whole thing. Absolutely love the design here. Some pretty decent damage. I'm getting extremely complacent. Still don't fully understand exactly the area of the lunar assault. It feels like there's a position you can be in that they get the maximum kind of frost build up. This is particularly annoying because he's currently losing his frost build up. I've spent so much time building up previously because he's currently untouchable. But the damage there is absolutely ridiculous. And he hasn't even got his bell yet. But it's nice here being able to do a huge amount of damage, so hopefully this should trivialize the end of the battle. And the reward from this guy is exceptional. I would love it if you could get that bell as a weapon, by the way. The one skill I'd love is the anchor drop from Act 4 from Captain Harlan or whatever his name is. Yeah, dude, that is so good. And I'm going to get hit by every single one of these. Whoa, I'm not even joking. Yeah, I think playing on a harder difficulty, i.e. with a completely gimped build, makes you so much better at the game. But playing when it's this easy, man, you can just enjoy yourself. I would honestly recommend starting with this kind of build just to start a season off. And then you can go into something a bit sillier later on, but it's so much nicer when you can subsidize it. So just trying out a few different items here. We've got the Grip of Winter. Let's whack that bad boy on. I wasn't quite the level to be able to use it when I first introduced it. And we've got the Herald of Ice. At least this is going to add something. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have the incorrect weapon type. Oh my. So look, someone hopefully can tell me this. For whatever reason, my inventory just kept swapping my weapons. I unbound the key to swap weapons. But there are times I'm like, okay, yeah, let's upgrade this, let's do this. And I go back, my weapon's just unequipped itself. Like, again, you can see there on the right, it's just suddenly gone to weapon slot 2. Loot box, love a loot box in a game, especially when you get another, I think that's another 2 passive skill points. I don't know why they call them passive weapon skill points. Love this boss, by the way. It's so cool. One of my favorite bosses, I think. Just a really, really cool environment. And it's nice to be a giant dog kind of being hounded. Like a kind of Beauty and the Beast. Is it Beauty and the Beast when he gets chased by wolves? Or saves Belle from... We've all seen it. Let's not pretend that I'm talking like you don't know what I'm talking about. Because you know. You've seen it. Maybe not recently. One of the first movies I remember having 3D in. And because I had a young sister when I grew up, I was able to watch a lot of these Disney movies. So there are some really, really good nodes here. Some really good, like, extra damage while being shapeshifted. We're going to socket our braces. We're going to go straight in here and have some fun. So I don't know what I am doing here. It actually hurts my head just to watch how badly it's going so far. I think since I've run this, a lot of people have started. This is very, very early on the season, by the way. This is almost like day 2, maybe. I wasn't sure if I was able to play exactly on day or evening 1, but this is probably evening 2 of it. So nobody knew what was going on. But by this point, you can look up guides and you can see what rooms connect with what, and maybe make this a lot more fun. Because the thing is, once you do it, you're kind of stuck with it. We'll get someone commenting, of course, saying,
why didn't you put this route? That's actually, you had one of the best early opportunities to make the best temple ever, but you didn't.
Well, to be honest, dude, nobody knew what they were doing at the beginning, so just calm down. But sometimes you get a lot of people commenting on my videos a lot after what I shouldn't do the voice, because actually some of the comments are quite fair, like why didn't you just use this unique item? Would have been really good. Actually, quite often it wasn't even in the game by that point. As I found out attempting now, my next run is going to be a skeleton only. They've removed summon skeleton as a skill from the game, so there is a way I can get that to work, but it's not going to be necessarily as many skeletons as I wanted, and I wanted a lot, I'll be honest. We're dicing with death here. We've ordered a drink too small and now our fight's kicked off, and we haven't drunk enough to have enough damage resistance. We've got a very, very small pot. We are taking a lot of damage. The kind of glowy donut. I mean, I actually really, really don't like this fight already. By the end, unfortunately, the Vile Temple, I was skipping it a lot because it was quite boring. Like, there's a little rare, like, archer there who's just ticking my health down. And this guy, I fought him so many times at this point. I mean, now I'm talking posthumously. And death there was slightly welcome. I'll be honest. I didn't need to upgrade anything. I didn't have anything worth upgrading, so save it. Maybe a good way of doing it, if you don't need the exalts, if it's your second character or whatever, maybe it might be worth just unlocking the temple rooms, doing the map, and then moving on to something else without actually running the temple. But each of their own. Some of you might really enjoy it, so I'm not going to be the fun police. Executioner, I love the way that move tracks, because that is a real, like, it's a skill you got to learn for some of the later bosses. I'm glad they make it really, really obvious that he's tracking you, so you can learn that skill in Act 1. The damage is ludicrous. I was complaining at some points in my previous runs about how boss health seemed a little bit too high. It seems too low. I'm going to completely change my tune. He should be 4 or 5 times tougher. The only real challenge, I think, is just my health is still... I'm still pretty squishy. I can't really hang around to take damage. Part of the reason why this game is like very high DPS related for a lot of it, and then suddenly it becomes really, really important. Oh, Arctic Howl. Okay, look, don't hate me about Arctic Howl, by the way, but I dropped the ball on this one. I tried it and I was like, this doesn't seem very good, and I just never used it. Spoiler alert, by the time I got to end Act 4, I realised it is so important, Arctic Howl, especially with all my minions. By the time I got a massive wolf pack following me around, it was so important. So just don't hate on me for not using it properly, because I just didn't know. And then when I did know, I felt like, oh great, I've got 2 hours of me not using this skill when I should have done. So you can keep looking down at that bar to see if I use it. I don't. Not for another hour and a half. But yeah, it's really good. If you ever play this character, just... There's like an order. Now, actually, I think it was maybe Lollicol, his video. I saw one of his streams. Let's just enjoy this, by the way. Bonk. Still great. Still great. Absolute sociopath. Love it. But anyway, Lollicol's video, he was playing a similar character. And he was like, actually, for Path of Exile 2, there's a lot of skills you have to cycle through. So I'm glad I kind of heard him say that. Because I was thinking at some point, why can I not just remember what I need to do? So let's do what I should have done a long time ago and upgrade some of my pots. We can see Count Cuckula down there. I love this little area. This is a pretty decent sized house, by the way. What is the size of this? It's got a church upstairs. Man, that is a decent sized house. Yeah, anyway, a lot of the guys who have played this build anyway say it's quite complicated, relative. There's like an order of things. You want to pounce, you want to freeze, you want to use Arctic Howl. So I'm using Arctic Howl maybe a bit preemptively here. Best thing to do would be to get him frozen first. Pounce on him, get a mark above him, which is currently a little symbol you can see. That's a pounce, so you get that mark above him. Get him frozen. Now Arctic Howl. I can't remember what it's called. I really, my voice almost quivered. Arctic Howl. I don't want to make it get it wrong. You'll know. You know what I'm talking about. Candlemas, he's got some incredible moves. We're not going to see any of them. He'd be dead. Candlemas Essence, actually pretty good. 20 life at this point in the game is very welcome. Especially considering my skill, the skill gap that I have. I like the fact you can walk down these stairs. Just a little bit. I really like this general wood paneling. You know by this point. I love it. Absolutely love it. Actually, there's a lot within this little area that you can miss. A few different bedrooms and things that I thoroughly recommend going and have an explore. This one in particular. We've looked at this book before. We've deciphered the runes in a previous run. I think that might have been my first ever Path of Exile video, actually. Just deciphering the runes there. It's very cool when you look into some of the details they've done. Loving the furniture in this place. Oh. Where has he been putting that wand, I wonder? Interesting. There's an interesting, maybe a parallel between the werewolf curse, I think, that the family's gone under, and, oh no! The real curse is someone spilt their tomato soup everywhere. I'm not quite loving the fact that the fire looks severely unattended. It's clearly bubbled over. And I don't really remember this. I think I've seen another one. That is a really bad picture, by the way. Why is he wearing that? He looks like Raven from BBC, which I think is the inspiration for Falconhoof from Limmy's show. That might be a reference more people get than the BBC. CBBC's Raven, which is very going to be UK. I'm not seeing this room before either. I mean, I'm quite sure it is. There's a few cages here. I don't know if the idea is that he has to lock himself up here when he changes every, I don't know, when it's his time of the month. I don't know how to explain it. Whether that's even true. There you go. Got a bit distracted by Raven. A program, unfortunately, I was probably a little bit too old to appreciate at the time. But Limmy's show, I can definitely appreciate. Oh, I'm getting my walls absolutely getting their heads bashed in. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, and that's a little bit telling, I think, of how different this run is to others. I love the way he smashes all those stones as well without a care. Taking some damage pretty early on here. He's up to 50, 60, 70% chill. Should get chill pretty early on. I need to work out whether or not I can really enjoy myself here, or whether that finishing move he's just about to do will be reset. Yeah, I do need to be a bit careful, actually. Yeah, so Lunar Assault now is doing kind of 3-4 points instead of the 10. So there definitely is a resistance after effect now, doing closer to 10 points of like frost build-up. You can see there just on the left of the health bar. Actually, the guy's in a pretty bad way. Can I chill out now? I actually don't think at this point you need to even bother attacking the guy, right? You can just run away. I'll do this just to keep my rage levels up. I'm getting very cross at my tender age now. Next to the blue ball, which we'll call mana, is a little red bar. So the little bar that's next to the health orb, the red ball on the left, that's your stun meter. You've got to be used for blocking. But actually they've added a little meter there, which is our rage meter. You can see there the rage just above the blue ball is out of 30. So I don't have a huge maximum rage, but each rage point I think is pretty much just 1% more damage. So it's a great skill to get a very big rage bar will be very good, and to keep it maxed out is very good. And there's a few skills later on which will be needing that maximum rage. So he's turned into a putrid wolf. Not the name I would have chosen for myself. And I don't understand exactly why Pounce then doesn't activate. I think maybe it only works against some creatures. And I'm just so used to this fight now. I've had to dodge that attack so often. Oh, no, you know, try and get as much damage at this point as we can. We do a huge amount of damage, but unfortunately we are essentially slowed down by the boss cycle. One of the other things we're in trouble. So look, now when I pounce, I'm getting some of these guys. I'm getting some of my wolf pack turning up. So maybe it's a case that you can't just spam it against bosses and just pounce in and run away. I am, if you hadn't already noticed, getting hit by every single one of these. The problem is I'm a little bit distracted attacking. Oh no. Oh no, the real boss. This was not uncommon in this particular patch. Best summed up by these guys, I think. Yeah, I lost the footage. It crashed. I got back in, and unfortunately my footage just stopped recording. the guy died. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not going to sex it up. But yeah, this was reaction at the player base. None of this is important. I'm going to talk about Rodolph Lundgren for a bit after each act. If you haven't seen Red Scorpion, it is incredible. Spetsnaz, you see that on t-shirts, and it is such a good movie. So if you've not seen Red Scorpion, is it my favorite? I think it might be. It's such a good action film. It's the way he should have been cast. Unfortunately, he's so overcast as a Russian, poor Dolph. But he is very, very good as a Russian in that particular film. So, yeah, I think he even goes into the desert and, I don't know, gets trained by the Maori or something. It's cool. It's cool. There's a really, really good slow motion machine gun scene, which I thoroughly recommend. We are actually playing Path of Exile 2, rather than me wittering on about action movies. Wrathbreaker here. I think it's probably actually Wrathbreaker. I'm so used to Wrath being mispronounced. But Wrathbreaker is about to get broken on the rocks. Now this little area here is a really, really good like cheese spot now, I know. A lot of his pack won't join in as long as you're really tucked in here. Not sure if it really matters. To be honest, actually a big pack of creatures around and then potentially exploding might actually be quicker. But I think this is the issue. Like, I am actually taking a lot of damage. They have, in a way, like carefully balanced between survivability and damage, but for the majority of the campaign, you don't need to worry so much about damage. Oh, look, here you go. Here's the bear, for those who haven't seen it. I don't know why he has to be so scarred up. Why can't he be just handsome? Anyway, we're in Act 2. Suffering some lag. Like, I've got frame drops here. I think a lot of it is because all this bullshit. There's so many people who've got all these like cosmetic packs. The amount of times I heard that little of the like little drumming, I don't even know what to call them, fetishes. It got quite annoying. I kind of wish you could turn it off, but I suppose there's no point having those cosmetics if you can't show them off in town to complete strangers. So what I'm doing here is, because I was a bit worried about my survivability, I'm just getting a bit of life leech on my main attack. I don't think I'm doing enough damage to really make that work for me, but I feel like if I don't do anything, I'll get a lot of criticism. Okay, so there's a extra minion damage there. It's a shame that the wolf pack isn't available a bit earlier. I didn't really fancy just swapping. But this happens a lot with Diablo 2 runs as well. I don't fancy like starting with a skill up to a certain point. I'd love to do like a Hydra only run, for instance, but I think that skill is available like level 18 or 24 or something mad like that. I don't really fancy like doing a huge run before that just to then be level 24. I could mod a character to start at level 24, but it just doesn't really seem like a lot of fun. Because I imagine by that point it's going to be quite easy. And the other problem with a lot of these sorcerer skills is, especially they're fire-based, it's basically the same equipment and the same stuff over and over again. So I don't know how some of the guys do Diablo 2 over and over again. It's nice doing Path of Exile because it's just so new and interesting, and I don't know everything about it, so it's fun to play. I did want to mention those huge guys that carry the wheels, like those huge like stone wheels that drop on you. They were so easy because you could freeze them. You could freeze a lot of like the ads. What am I talking about? Like the just general packs of creatures before each boss. You could just freeze them almost in 1 or 2 hits. So it became really, really easy. I mean, that first like freeze is good, but then when you hit the second freeze and you get all those little orbs exploding as well, it's just the damage is just insane. I mean, this guy's second stage already. I'm going to just probably get... Yeah, I did want to see if I had iframes during my pounce. You don't. By the way, in case that wasn't obvious by how close I was to death. Almost a bit of negative micro there, like me chasing around getting hit by every moment of the flamethrower. But I've got a strong feeling now on this second volley of shredding. And I'll save you the unnecessary screams there, which one of my friends said scared his son immensely. It is probably the most horrifying fight from start to finish of any. So let's do the skill. I'm trying to work out what I was trying to do there. I've got a level 6 skill gem. One of the other things that's worth noting with this particular build is because you have so many different skills. I mean, I've not even got everything I'm going to be using yet. You do actually run out of skill gems a lot more. I'm so used to accumulating them. One of the things I did actually treat myself to is a skill gem tab. What a treat. What a lucky boy I am. Yeah, I just felt like, especially by the time you get to second character, you've got a lot of like trash you need to sort out. So this is actually a very cool part of the Val, kind of unlocking the Val temple. Is there are some bosses that come out, which I actually think is very cool. The only problem is they're really, really boring ones. They're all like the very, very boring attacks. I'm pretty certain I fought this guy about 5 or 6 times. I mean, the only reason I'm not dodging is because it's just so boring. And once again, I'm like, oh, let's just pounce through this. It'd be cool. No, it was a really stupid idea, and I got absolutely destroyed. But I didn't really mind. Because the nice thing about dying at this particular part of the game is you know it's not going to drop anything that incredible. And with the marketplace, it's not like anything you can't just buy, which is a really nice way to play this game. just go shopping every time you're like, oh, nice to get a little bit of a change or a DPS jump, and then you can very easily buy it for often very cheap. So solo self-found, man, that's a very, very different way to play this game. Especially if you're very equipment dependent, which nearly every build is. I'm just tanking this guy. I'm actually not sure if Babalo is a man or a woman. I'm not judging, but I think he's a guy. But you're getting frozen so quickly. Just enjoying myself. This, I mean, even these little ads, guys, they were such a pain in previous runs, but just tank a lot of this. Still got a very, very healthy potion there as well. I'm taking some flammability build up there, and that's not ideal for my survival. But the only thing that's likely to kill me is my own lack of concentration. I've been watching a lot of, I mean, I think I mentioned this in a few different videos, but there are quite a few episodes. Star Trek The Next Generation is kind of what I'm watching in the background while I'm playing this. And I'm on the final season. It's just about to leave Netflix in the UK, so I'm trying my best to get through it. And I'm on the last few episodes now. So that's why I'm maybe not concentrating as much as some of you would have liked me to during this. But there's hours and hours of footage here I'm condensing down, so forgive me if I sometimes want to do some other stuff in the background. Watching TV is one of those things I really struggle to do while play games at the same time. But Star Trek, I know the characters well enough. This last season, they definitely cool it in a bit as well. There's a lot of similar storylines, so I'm not feeling I'm missing too much. But you're great, honestly, I love it so much. And I love the way you see in the background here, so easy to miss, the caravan making its way through. I'm just going to go down the tree here. Sometimes it's worth, I think, if you've got a bit of spare cash, which I do. A lot of that's from the temple runs, by the way. But I've got some decent cash. Oh, satisfaction here. Oof. Wow, that looked cool. But yeah, I've got a little bit extra cash, so I don't mind maybe going a few interesting directions on the skill tree, and then I'll just undo that at a later date. This guy, Soulbane, I mean, you've designed a creature that could basically hit me almost every attack. For whatever reason, I just did not have the brain power to avoid it. It's so easily telegraphed. Just avoid it. Yeah, easy avoiding. Yeah. Yeah, easy. I did get clipped then. I mean, the wolves are not having a great time of it. He actually has quite a lot of hit points as well, which is not ideal because I can't concentrate for that long with this character, so I've never really needed to. But man, I was just getting absolutely hit. I mean, there again. It's just getting embarrassing at this point. And there again! Oh my goodness me. Please don't judge me. Do I deserve these 2 exalted orbs? No! But I won't be dropping them. Deep Freeze and Ice Bite we can see currently is what we've got on this skill. Just a lot of it, when you get these kind of debates of like, oh, should I be replacing some of this? Especially with newer skill gems kind of opening up. Often the answers don't bother. But just an interesting perspective there. It's very, very cool. I love it when they play with verticality in games, and this game, they do it so well. More so in the later acts as well, you notice the levels are a lot more up and down, which I really like. Manra here. Not looking good. Not looking good for their survival. The nice thing is, having done this a few times, I also know I don't need to get Jamanra down all the way to the bottom there. Because he's going to zippity zoodar off in just a moment. Hopefully in a moment anyway. Where should I stand for this? That was a little bit, was actually some really delayed reaction. It's like I saw it hit me and then it actually felt the wave of pain a little bit later. Damage is good though. I mean, a lot of the time I'm just tanking the hits. Part of the problem is I'm doing so much damage. I'm looking at like the damage numbers above the boss rather than actually looking at the attacks. With some of these like smaller attacks, I just take it. Is he off already? Or is he going to change? I can't quite remember. Oh, he's summoning some ads. I think the problem is I didn't necessarily get to this stage when I should have done, so I'm having to do it now. This happened actually quite a few times with some bosses. Got through them so quickly they ended up kind of interrupting the fun. I mean, there he is. Off he goes. Bye. this I always just like the idea of just right. The wolf looks so cool when it's running as well. And oh man, some of the environments here looking so good. So I did a little bit of, I mean, look, I don't really like the idea of, I just punched my microphone, sorry if you heard that. I don't really like showing me trying to craft because it's so cringe. But yeah, sometimes I like spending a little bit pointlessly. And it's nice actually to come back to this. This happened very rarely that I actually got to see the Abyss. But I did actually quite like this. I'm glad that they keep a lot of the old season stuff in. I'm also quite enjoying the fact that because I've started from this game from the beginning, a lot of this stuff feels very familiar to me. The one thing I haven't really done is maps, and I apologize if that offends you, but I think by the time I get to the maps, I'm ready to move on to a new character. But this is nice. Like I've seen a lot of what the Abyss has to offer. Maybe not all of it. I didn't understand all of the kind of Nord rib side of it. But fighting all these rares I'm familiar with, and the kind of abyssal armories that pop up. Oh, that is a dreadful loot, by the way. Well, that actually was not the end of it, thankfully. So there was more to come. By the time the last abyssal coffer was opened, it got pretty good. That's more like it. We'll open up these seals. I think that guy reminds me so much of the monk from Diablo 3, by the way. Oh, I don't know. Some of those things, like the Season 1... Okay, here we go. I was going to say, the Season 1, like, Hunter... I'm just not that bothered by. Oh, we saw this one in my previous run, the whole Decompose. It might be worth it just because it's got 69 armor. Alright, yeah. More seals. I am so confused, by the way, as to where to go. I was quite welcome to head down. See, what I wanted to do is just put a path straight up to the end boss, and he won't let me do it. And I thought, oh, maybe they're really rare, but some of them just will not. So anytime I got a room that would connect upwards, I basically took that opportunity. But it seemed pretty random. Okay, this is good. Yeah, and then, okay, one more. So this is the way to do it, but then I can't put the path on it. It's so annoying. So I basically have to make two. I mean, there's no way. I mean, where does it? It doesn't even matter. Put it somewhere in the middle. Nah, put it at the end. And we'll run it. I end up fighting more smiths. This is fun. I'm not bothered by this at all. It's a bit like just having to farm the same boss over and over again. It's just not that interesting. I don't know how they'd make this more interesting. I know the game is essentially just fighting different coloured creatures in different environments. But I just found this particularly memorable but also obnoxiously boring to have to do it again kind of fight. So, like once per thing and for him to change every time. Like as you build the temple up, he gets more and more mods. That would be interesting. But to have to fight him like 3 times every time I get one of these like forge rooms, it's not that fun. But being able to add sockets, it's pretty nice. So we'll take it. What I found actually was quite important is to maybe bring some items with you, with some good bases, like some good magic items, because some are like rare, some are not rare. Like at certain points during the end of this, I'll show you that shield in a bit, by the way, because I did find another unique. But I struggled to find items that weren't fully maxed out with all of the rare modifiers possible. But it's nice not having to use things like exalt orbs and, you know, all the others. Like I can remember all their names immediately. But it's nice not necessarily having to use all your hard-won resources on adding mods and stuff to items. You can just run some temples. But even with a character that can run them pretty quickly, I'm not showing myself at my best in that last clip. But this is a cool one as well, like just being able to upgrade some of the gems to levels that can, you know, finally get 3. I didn't love the fact they dropped it on the floor. Kind of wish it just did it for you. But these are all like cool things to add in. Like it's nice to be able to get that without having to, like, especially if you haven't dropped a, I can't remember what it's called now, Jeweler's Orb or whatever it is, then it's nice just to kind of get it for free. But it did get a little bit silly. I did find I was just getting too much. And like, do I necessarily need all of those extra mods? I mean, I'm getting things like light radius there, so it's not the worst thing. But this area is pretty cool. The like vault. I think I ended up getting this vault like once before the game decided to remove it. But this is the kind of thing you like. And that vault just in the middle, you know, is going to be good. One thing that might be quite good is if they completely prevented you from accessing your stash. So you've got him like a loot bag, and then you could only get out with certain stuff. That might be quite cool. And then we're finally getting cross slash, which feels like such a staple of the build now. But yeah, to be finally getting it is very cool. And that's what it looks like. It looks absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm not highlighting the game at the best. So cross slash is what you describe as a finishing move. It's extraordinarily cool, by the way. I just realised I didn't share that other unique item. But the braid, I will definitely share that one because that is super cool. I think I've seen it on someone else wear it before. Or maybe I saw it in a previous video and just thought it looked really good. But let's have a look before we get too carried away with items. But yeah, look, that cross slash doesn't really work just at random. You can't just be spamming cross slash in the hope it's going to do something. You need to be able to, you need to be freezing creatures. You need to be shredding them. And then cross slash uses all those little ice crystals on the ground. It pulls them all towards the cross slash area and then detonates them all. So timing wise, it's a really, really cool finishing move to be using. And I think maybe there's ways you can augment it with extra damage to creatures on low health and stuff like that. So you could use it as a really decent finishing move. Let's see if I can implement it here. Slash, 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 cross slash. I mean, didn't really need it, but damn, that looks so cool. I mean, one of the most important things, the reason why people buy cosmetics in this game is because, let's be honest, it looks so cool. This character looks incredibly cool. And look at this little like wobbly skeleton. I should be wearing that on my skeleton only run. Probably won't because I need the spirit, but it's a very, very cool item. And do you know, I don't think I've seen this little area before. I like showcasing some of the areas in this game because I think they're really underappreciated with the speed people play the game, but that's really cool. With SHOPPING, we're shopping. That's a Pet Shop Boys reference. I think actually Pet Shop Boys might be UK banned as well, so nobody would have heard of them, but maybe you have. I was a very big fan of the Pet Shop Boys when I was about 6. So, well, look at this guy. What is that? That is, oh my god, that is so cool. Now that is a cosmetic I would happily walk around with. Crypt Crawl. RIP. We're shopping. That's what we were trying to do. We are looking for, actually we're looking for a jewel here. This has increased cold damage, increased freeze build up. Not perfect, but for one exalt, it's the best I could afford at this point. It doesn't actually up my damage that much, but I know it's going to be helping to freeze creatures more often, and that's very important. We're running out of kind of frost-based jewels we can add into. Probably used the wrong term there. Okay, look. And apologies, a lot of these clips at this particular point are out of order, but I did want to show you this because the Rondel de Exile is really cool. Curse enemies with Enfeeble on block. There's definitely a build there, but it just looks super cool as an item, so I did want to show it. We've gone a little bit down like the freeze build up on the skill tree that I just showed you. I mean, what looks to be a lightless passage, if I would describe it in one way. I do not remember this area at all. So I don't know if this is maybe something they've added it. I could have just missed this my previous run through. It looks like it's very previous season related. So, oh, look at this area as well. This is so cool. Looks like your mother. Oh, Jay, that's very English humour, by the way. Not very good humour either, but any giant hole. Oh, look, there's your mother. Death Gnash. Death Gnash is a cool name. And we've got a lurking creature here. Oh, cool. That looks like a language I should learn.
So the ancient enemy has returned.
Actually, I have no idea what is going on right now. Still, do not hold still. Did he just stretch his head out? Oh, dude. Oh, I don't know what he's just done to me. Let's go. That's cool. Oh, that's it. Okay, I'm getting nothing from this guy. You start talking absolute rubbish like that. The Well of Souls. Unrevealed desecrated modifier. So I think you can desecrate items, and then presumably if you put them in here, you can then see what their desecration. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't. Just stop even talking. Let's move on. Let's move on with the symbol campaign. Do you know, I really love this little area here. This I am an expert on. I don't like the little sand build up on the steps. Man, it looks so good. I love this area so much. It looks super cool. And the idea, like, immediately look how cool this game is. My goodness me. I'm a big fan of this boss as well. I think it's very cool. Some of these bosses I do think should be the end of act boss. But this guy especially is just so cool. And he can be frozen. That is so cool. You can see his little frozen feet down there if you care. Look at the damage this guy's taking as well. Right, we need to get out of here now because this is a really easy way to take unnecessary damage. Let's maybe pounce on him, mark him. Do I need to be scared here? I think this is the roof attack. Let's get tucked in for some shredding. So we have to wait until he does his animation until we like to freeze him. So he's on 99%. And as soon as there we go. And as soon as he's allowed to be frozen, he will be. And the damage is big. Okay, so we've got the ads coming in. We do have to be a little bit careful because they will explode on us. We've got over 500 hit points. This is the nice thing about the marketplace on this. You can just massively over-level yourself with equipment. Bit of a preemptive cross-slash there. Not very cool, but it's cool the fact that we were able to beat that guy so easily. Look at this. Get out of here. As soon as you one attack and they all die. The Flame Reaper, that feels like a little bit of redemption, considering the last time we did that, we died on his final attack. I'm taking damage here, but actually there's a little bit of cold resistance here as well. A lot harder to get that freeze build up. Definitely something we should consider in terms of, and that's a misclick there if you're wondering why I'm cross-slashing. There's a little bit of that goes on. It's probably safer just over here. Okay, well, I mean, although I'm not playing particularly well, I'll be the first to admit that. Does it matter? I mean, I'm not playing well. Cabala's already at half health. We might have to be... Yeah, we're going to have to suffer the stage 2 here. But actually, now I know how to do it. It's very easy. And we can pounce back in. Confidently pounce straight over her head. Fortunately, again, 99% freeze. It's just one of those things you have to suffer through with the bosses. You just have to time your lunar assault at the right point. Oh, I mean, look at that. It looked really cool. There's a lot of decent damage there as well. Cool. And what, a little like a 360 jump there as well at the end. Well worth it, that reward as well. Go full freeze build up. Because actually, although against most of the average creatures, the freeze build up is very comfortable. Any creature that's got a little bit of frost resistance, we have to be on it. We have to be speccing into it. And it should mean that with most of these guys, we can, even if they're kind of blue, unique, rare, we should be freezing them on 1 or 2 hits. I mean, even areas like this where I'm so used to being like overwhelmed, I'm just lunar assaulting here, which really is not the main damage dealer. But we're doing more than enough damage. And this 9th Treasure of Keth was such a pain in some of my previous runs. So I'm going to take great pressure. Pressure?
I'm going to take great pressure.
I've actually, one of the guys on my previous videos said, immediately stopped watching as soon as I heard him say warrior. How embarrassing. Dude, that's the way I talk when I get excited. I'm a strong warrior. Talking strong warriors, look at this. Oh my goodness, this is satisfaction. Oh, cross slash there. Looks like some of them are on fire as well. What's going on? You can see, actually, if you concentrate, my mana is in a really bad spot. I am not being careful with my mana usage. And there might be something we need to do on the skill tree or item-wise to augment that. A lot of pots there. Look at someone here who does not like washing up. Oh, it's this absolute... This guy's such a loser. Can we do a lot of damage straight off the bat? Yeah, actually, that seemed to work quite well. This guy looks absolutely terrifying. Like, has a kind of a captor. This is not the kind of guy, because he looks really, really bulky. He's kitted, and he's clearly absolutely obsessed with women who aren't interested in him, and that is a dangerous combination. The Forsaken Sun. Wait, is he the sun? Oh my goodness me, I cannot read. So, and you know what? I'm actually looking forward to a perfect fight here. This is incredible. A 0 damage fight. Walls don't count. It's a 0 damage fight, guys. Just get used to it. Perfect. Oh, I think we can confidently finish him here. Oh, you absolutely... Unbelievable. Perfect fight. Perfect. Sound like Donald Trump. Perfect fight. No, I can't. Don't even try it, dude. I'll tell you what. One of the things that's really dangerous to talk about politics. Whatever you say, someone's like, I don't know what it is. I honestly think, having spent Christmas with my family, I think a lot of the stuff people argue about, especially when they're like together and they are arguing about whatever, I swear it's just Chinese-Russian PSYOP campaigns. Like, the stuff we argue about is so stupid. And yet, like, fundamentally, we all basically agree on everything. But the tiny little nuances are so divisive. So yeah, my suggestion is, when you get passionate about something, just don't. Because the chances are, the only reason you're passionate is because you're trying to undermine the democracy of the country that you're currently enjoying. It's a bit heavy, that. This guy's literally killed himself listening to me, trying to educate me. This is a guy playing video games really quite badly, and he meant to be taking advice. But this was cool. Plans. Someone's designed this, and I'm desperately trying to look at it and to decipher what it means. Is it like a map to something? It looks like it's a big exclamation mark. It's like, why are you even looking at this? Oh no, this is the problem with TikTok trends. It's happening all over now. Fun. Oh, this is a great reward as well. I went everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. I've explored this map thoroughly. It was right by the boss. Those two Hugin bosses. Right by there. Completely missed it. So we're going for some trimmed greaves. I'm trying to push armor during this run because I think it might be quite good fun. You can see here on this right side of this shape-shifting kind of part of the tree, there's some really, really good stuff that augments your damage with armor. So that's what I'm going for. Augments damage and survivability. Another rune complete. You know what that means. Let's put something in this. I wonder if you can get more than one socket. You can. You get 2 sockets. So that's actually a really, really nice quality of life improvement. You'll see why, especially when we get into some of the ascendancies, why having extra sockets is really, really cool with this particular character. Torgal. Oh wow, it looks so cool when he's frozen. How they managed to get that effect? Oh, the damage is absolutely insane. I mean, I do have to be a little bit careful not to get hit. But we are well on our way to defeating Torgal. He was so difficult. Was it on the Thorns only run? He was so tough. He was actually maybe even a real blocker to the run. It's amazing. Like, I've only really been doing YouTube at this point for a year. I do not remember some of the runs I did just a few months ago, let alone like a year ago when I did my Raven only run on Diablo 2. But some of the other Path of Exile runs, very, very poor recollection. Keeps it fresh, I suppose. Torgal, I do remember the fact that he lives in a little well and he looks like he's stuck in it is a bit embarrassing. Oh, that finishing move as well looked cool. This, I mean, look, I have no idea what items. 115% spell damage, extra fire damage, critical spell damage. It's got some mana and it's got mana regen. That feels really good. I mean, I'm sure if I went to the marketplace, that'd be worth absolutely nothing, but some of these items, maybe that's solo self-found, like that's a really good thing to be able to find. But one thing I really do struggle is understanding the value of anything. That to me seemed like a really decent item, but I think when I went on the marketplace, it wasn't worth that much. But man, those mods seem incredible. Talking of end of act bosses, the end of act boss, Jamanra, a real abomination. I've had some very, very difficult times on this particular fight. Actually, already the damage is not. I mean, it's okay. It's pretty good. This is only step 1 of the fight, we know. But the damage seems. I mean, it's nice to have already done about 20,000 damage without having tried too hard at this point. I am going to try and avoid as much damage in this early stage as possible because I know a lot of those attacks in the second stage I really struggled to avoid. But Frozen. Now look, at this point, why am I not using Arctic Howl? I don't know. I should be, but I'm not. I'm getting a bit frustrated, of course, having to deal with this particular part. Taking some maybe unnecessary damage here as well. At least this should be a bit of a flask refill. As we... Who are these people? Why doesn't he get some proper fighters? Is he like equal opportunities employer by the looks of it? Let's freeze him again. Oh yeah, nice, okay. So I believe we need to get him to half health and then the second stage of the fight will happen. We could be pretty close after maybe one more frozen run. Oh no, here we go. Easy. Fortunately we've got really, because that cross slash throws you backwards, we've got the worst possible angle of viewing the excitement. Oh look, Minimouse just popped up. Guess I wasn't sure where I am. Yeah, there's a lot of misclicks and bad damage here. A lot of this fight, I find, is avoiding those 2 hits. His 2 like weapon attacks. And then hopefully good RNG. Sometimes those whirlwinds. Whirlwinds? Tornadoes? Twisters? Cyclone? Hurricane? Typhoon? I couldn't tell you. I still need to see Twister 2. Let me know if anyone's watched that and it's any good, because I really enjoyed the first Twister movie. That's I don't know, just 90s movies. There were some great ones. I find that I'm going back to 90s movies more than I'm trying new movies. I find new movies quite exhausting in terms of how boring they are. A lot of CGI and not much acting. When did that happen? Actually, I do know when that happened, in the 2000s. It's almost like they ruined music with pop music in like the 90s, and then they've ruined movies in the 2000s, and unfortunately we haven't really recovered from it. Oh dear, we've got, annoyingly, he's really stuck in that little area. I'm taking a lot of damage when I sit there. There we go, we've got some luck here. This should be the end. What does he do? What does he get hit by something there? Oh, is he just accidentally throw it into himself? I'm not sure if I really understand that. What I do understand is that we're going to get that little victory bell. Beware of the local sausage maker. She's trouble. But we're done. We can enjoy ourselves now. So we leap towards Act 3. Now look, I'm going to talk about Showdown in Little Tokyo. Probably one of the best Dolph Lundgren movies out there by a long way. It's got Brandon Lee in, and one of the best movie lines, which you'll see there, which I daren't repeat, but it's weird. It's weird, but it's hilarious, and it's a great action movie, so enjoy it. Anyway, on to Act 3. Love this little swamp area, by the way. Not a great fan of root dredge. I feel like this is almost designed to make me look stupid. A lot of time I just can't necessarily see the attacks that are going on. Maybe that's part of the fight. Also, not the easiest guy. I mean, you can see there the exploding creature. It's a lot easier watching this back and criticising than it is when I actually play. It's very, very solid damage though, but I can see that guy's about to explode and I need to run away. Unfortunately, by moving a little bit further down into the arena, I've managed to aggravate a little magic dude, which is annoying. I want to make the most of this particular attack here as well. But I've got to be careful because he seems to still be casting spells. I'm not sure if that's the mage below. Maybe it would be pertinent for me to just... Whoa, okay, yeah. And I didn't see that at all, by the way. That's like a corpse explosion or whatever. Yeah, I feel like this fight is very difficult. I don't know, maybe I found it easier with particular characters because I was paying a little bit more attention, but tough. I probably deserve to die more than once there. I'm not going to get hit by that. I'm not a noob. And this is more my kind of fight. I am just absolutely sliced them to pieces. Gone already. And through his frozen eyes, watching his wife get sliced apart brutally. Hammer Step feels like, again, a little bit of just a crap boss that didn't make the final cut of some act somewhere. I'm guessing 2. But what is the point in this? This is just rubbish. Only problem is, the loot's always pretty good, so... Well, there's only one well that's improved on that, and that's Deckard. And his urine soaked. They needed public toilets. That was his argument to why he used to urinate in the well. So unfortunately I make a little bit of an error here. This is just a lack of game knowledge. I get that Molten Claw which adds 8% fire damage. I was a bit concerned that might overwrite my frost damage, of course, my freeze. But I happened to put a skill gem on at the same time that did remove the deep freeze. So I was like, oh, it's annoying that you can't have cold and frost at the same time, but it makes thematic sense. So, okay, I get it. I don't remember this area at all. Yeah, I'm not sure about it. Maybe it's very easy to miss things in this game because some of the areas are so wide. But yeah, there's a little like belt reward here. And I think you're finding out who's husband, son, and I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'm very close to the ruins here of the giant silver mighty beast. I can't remember what his name is now. He's killed me so many times. Unfortunately, I find kind of like someone just to eat up all of my pots before that point. So I'm out of mana. I've had to use quite a lot of my health potion there as well. And I know in this particular area we've got a mighty silver beast. Yeah, I did remember just before it popped up. There you go. It feels good. Let's get this quadrilla out of the way. Oh, God, we've got to be really careful. It's a very like weird choice to have a one-shot kill mechanic, especially when he just uses it over and over again. I understand there should be... Oh, I mean, that is just so... I saw it as well. I'm like, why am I not moving? Oftentimes it's because I'm too busy looking at the damage numbers to see what's going on. I'm also, at this point, a bit confused as to why my... Irritatingly, why my freeze attack seems to be doing absolutely nothing when it was such an important damage dealer. So at the moment I'm just basically using a shred, which is not ideal. It's almost like just using a basic attack when I could be making this fight a lot easier for myself. But it looks like we're just about to stun him, which is good. And there's a lot more damage coming out with that stun as well. That is cool. I've yet to make a stun build. One of the first characters my friend made was a warrior that relied upon stun, and it was really strong. I know warriors are, given a hard press, but I think a lot of the time if you're just concentrating on what the meta is and what does the most damage, then you're never really going to be able to enjoy this game. Nice little Chaos Orb there. Oh, nice. I completely forgot about the book of special. Oh my God! Talking of special people, my goodness me. We've got a book of specialization. Now I actually unspec from the Molten Claw because I have no idea. But it's 40% increased armor. But then I'm a bit worried about, I get some extra elemental damage. Is that going to be potentially fire, which is going to cancel out my freeze? I'm just an idiot. The problem is the skill gem that I'm using. Or the support gem. Sorry, I can't even talk properly when it comes to this game. I'm using a support gem that removes the freeze and does extra damage. I found this quite interesting. There's a little hole here. Looks like there might be some footprints where someone's climbed up. So that looks like that hole's almost at kind of thorax height, kind of groin height, and there's some handprints in the dust around the head, so God knows what was being done there. I can't even work it out. And that's me just flashing out the face. Consumes freeze, a particular support gem. So don't make the mistake I did. Instead, enjoy this incredible liquid physics of this game. It's so good. It is very easy just to accidentally put on a bit. Oh my God! And the gore mound. Here we go. What's he going to hit me with every other attack? Here we go. There we go. Oh, he's got a stomp attack now. Yeah, and a punch attack. Get hit by that as well. At least I can freeze him. He's got way more health than he deserves to have. I think a lot of it might be damage resistance of some type. Maybe high armor. Let's get hit by that. Let's get hit by that. Actually, I am making a compilation of all the times I get hit because it did make me laugh. But I was getting hit by absolutely everything. And by the end, I'm like, I've run out of healing here. And the guy's not dead. This is going to be awful. Just keep running away. I was lucky that he didn't have a follow-up attack. My goodness me. And hopefully this sacrificial mantle is every time you take damage, something happens. You lose a subscriber. Random curse. Yeah, that kind of checks out. Do you know, I'd love to do a totem build. It's annoying the way they've changed totems in Path of Exile 2, that it's like charge-based or a bit like Glory is in this game. Like you build it up and then you can finally use it. Because I'd love to do a totem-only build. I was going to do one in Path of Exile 1, but I've since read that totems are the de facto, like, meta best build, so it feels a little bit silly doing a challenge run where you only use totems when totems are the best. But if anyone's got any good ideas of challenge runs for Path of Exile 1, I'd like to get back in the game. It's a cool game. I've done Path of Exile 2 quite a few times now, and I'm doing another Path of Exile 2 run now. So I've got another Diablo 2 run that I'm doing. And then, which is kind of slightly linked to my Deca Kane music video, my rap, and then also the Path of Exile, another Path of Exile skeleton only run. So those will probably be the next 2 videos after this, potentially. Although I am this year, ideally I want to add in a little bit more, just like random videos of random stuff. Just trying to have a bit of fun rather than suffer. So some shorter videos just to like fill, because one of the ways I get absolutely killed by the algorithm is, well, I switch games a lot, which doesn't help, but also I just don't post frequently enough. So I'm going to just maybe have some fun, do some like incremental games, some roguelike games. So hopefully there'll be a little bit more for you guys to enjoy if you want to hear me talk about Dolph Lundgren's best movies. Whoa, okay. Barkskin, I'm just literally just teasing you here. Wolfpack. Yes, okay. This is super exciting. So this should have been available from level 1 in my opinion. And then I could have had a very different type of experience. But we've got a Wolfpack. What is it? Oh, I'm an idiot. I've not... 60 spirit! What the hell? I'm going to turn off Herald of Ice, which is really irritating. Maybe... Oh, this is just annoying. Well, but look at this. 8 wolves now following us. Wow, up to... Because I can get 5 with my pounce attack. So 9. Incredible. Look at this. Looks so good. So I've got a strong feeling as soon as he does his one bash attack, almost every single one of them died. I think the only 4 that survived were the up-to-date skill version. And they do, of course, regenerate a lot more than my pounce attack ones will. But Seleucian, I said that with some confidence, didn't I? Yeah, I mean, I just know how to do this fight so well. So the trick is, if you didn't know, as soon as he flies up, you just run to the opposite side of the arena and he soon lands. And the only the attack you really need to be concerned of, if you've got no resistances, then avoid a lot of the attacks. But the only one you really need to be careful of this is slam attack, which you can avoid pretty comfortably if you're not an idiot like me and kind of push him into the wrong zone. But yeah, I mean, this was very, very easy as fights go. And it's quite nice to beat someone who looks so cool. Reminds me of kind of Dragon's Dogma, that fight. And the way his head explodes at the end. That's so good. So we are here looking for soul cores, right? There is a boss here that we do want to fight, like a little sub-boss we want to fight. But we're stuck fighting ethereal rotted rats. Weird that I could target Alva there. So what am I going to do with these wolves? Well, actually, I've got no idea. My idea was maybe to give them poison. Well, I did give them poison. And with that, maybe the idea of giving them escalating poison as well. Well, I didn't realize at the time that I couldn't use it because I didn't have enough dexterity, so that's why it's slightly greyed out. That's how clever I am at this game. Now that there is definitely a glowing red protrusion on that particular guy, and it's worth bearing that in mind next time we see him. But he definitely sticks out, and it's definitely in a particular part of his body. So we put the soul cores in the generators. This area was very, very tough before. But look what she's touching. Where is that on the human? If there's his head, there's his chest. That, I mean, they've definitely put that in a very suspicious place, if you ask me. A big red member sticking out. They must have known that when they built this. Come on. Maybe it's just my mind, but it goes to the filthiest places. I mean, I am a little bit ashamed of the intro to this video, but it did make me laugh a lot. Especially the King's Mark prostitute. There's one particular moment coming up which, once you see it, you can't unsee. Yeah, but this particular red protrusion. Do you know what? I'm looking at it and I can't talk properly. It's not my fault. He's got it out, officer. But I suppose I like the way his hat seems to wobble every time he gets hit. There's quite a nice little addition there as well. Very, very strong neck, this guy. Incredible shoulder pads and incredible hat. And I really wish he just put some trousers on. I think we can time the cross slash there. It looks very cool. And jump over this just for the effects. And it's a shame because I really, really enjoyed the water here. But it seems to slightly bug out on the bit that drains the water away. But it just looks so good. It really looks like it's flowing. Like the way it speeds up through those little gullies there as well looks so good. And it looks seamless as well. Man, I'd love to talk to the people who made some of the environments in this game. I think they've done such a good job. It's so easy to ignore when people complain about this game. They're idiots. They really are. Just forgotten how to enjoy games. So look, massive armor increase here. That's kind of what I'm going for here. And this, just decent resist. There's attributes of strength. This seemed like a decent... It was expensive. But it seemed like a very, very decent pickup for my level. And it should last me for hopefully most of the campaign. The next purchase looked insane. So 1 Chaos Orb. But this has got a huge amount of physical damage increase. Now when I looked to see... Look, it's 1 Chaos Orb. We're talking anything else close nearby. 29, 25, 20 Chaos Orbs. DPS jumps up to almost 800 off the back of this. So huge, huge damage increase. That's part of the fun of like getting a bargain on eBay almost. And I really like this little like checkpoint here as well. I think this is probably potentially underappreciated. That little like totem in the middle of it. Just look really cool. Easy to skip past little details like that. But someone's designed that, put some thought into it, and I appreciate it. Not sure what the rent price is on the foul quarters. But now Stinkthirst is gone, and the filthy lobbers have been defeated. Maybe I actually found these one of the rare like finds. Rarity's good, dual resist, decent armor as well. Very nice. Now look, there's a little bit of there's some interesting things here. Increased armor, stuff like that. There is an armor like shield shaped tree here. Ancient Aegis. 60% increased armor from equipped body armor, which is the kind of what I'm going for. And there's more cold damage here. I mean, and extra fire damage. There's loads of places we can go. And this is before we've even really touched upon the rage part that we should be trying to push. But I am a bit worried about my survivability, and I don't feel like I'm struggling at this point. Although painting, now I see how they get that build of the week kind of freeze frame. They just unplug the internet. This was really, really frustrating death. I can't even imagine playing hardcore on this. But this Rabid Talisman of Combat is pretty much max. I'd be curious to understand, like, is this a good time to do it? But 5% increased attack speed on top of that as well. Felt like I was doing some good stuff. The Lord's work. We'll keep trying to build that. See where it goes. Queen of Filth. Now this is a pretty risky fight. I'm never really sure how it's going to go. She has that particular, like, rolling attack, which unfortunately can push you at the same time. You can see here how many of those little orbs are being pushed out every time I do the shred attack. Once they've been frozen, which is very cool. But I'm not particularly chaos resistant at this point, which I'm guessing a lot of these mushrooms will be doing that kind of damage. especially if I fall into that little cursor aura area there. This could be a bit risky. But already down to half health. So worst case scenario, we shouldn't have to repeat this too many times till we get the RNG. If we do get a one shot by a rolling smash attack. God, I mean, this is a very, very satisfying. And that's exactly the kind of risky attack I need to be very cautious of. Especially if you're poisoned off the back of that. But I think this might be GG for the Queen of Filth. Glorious little cross slash at the end there. And we've got the Ancient Aegis as well. Hopefully this is going to shoot our armor straight up. 58, 60. I mean, it's okay. It's a bit annoying. It's not nearly as much as I want. I think it's one of those diminishing returns kind of stats, unfortunately. This is cool. Little try and use some condoms. I'm not really sure what they are, actually. We can skip a lot of the nonsense before then. Nothing much of any great interest happens. I do like the little sun area before, but let's crack on through. I don't want this video to be 10 hours long. I haven't got the energy to render a video that gets any longer than the current video length. God knows what's going to happen when I get to the extra acts that added in. One of the things I will mention now is I have actually gone into the additional, I don't know what we call like the prelude acts after this. I haven't included them in this video, but if you want to see them, then you kind of got to let me know. It's a huge amount more. I mean, it's probably another hour's worth of content off the back of this, so I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I was having so much fun, and I did want to see them before they removed them, because that was my big worry, that they'd remove them in a patch suddenly, and as they add in another act or whatever. I'm sure that will probably get announced, but I wanted to make sure I did the prelude acts before they got removed. So I have done it on this character, so let me know what you think. But very, very easy fight this. This is part of the reason why I skipped a lot of the prelude there. There's not much building up to much, unfortunately. Let's leave our walls behind. See you, lads. This bit, I think, is pretty cool. And of course, it gets absolutely ruined by my latency spiking, so I don't get to enjoy it at all. Just some heavy breathing, and then all of a sudden it's open. And this little sun, I don't remember seeing this before, this sundial at the end. I'm sure I have kind of clocked it. But it's very, very cool, because what's interesting is we can go back and see if it's there. So the statue that's in front is there, although it's painted in its previous form. And unfortunately, the sundial is behind that, like, tree. I don't know what kind of tree that is. Baobab tree, is it? No. It's like a kapok or a strangler fig, I think they're called. Yeah, someone let me know, because I actually am interested. So we skip through the trial, because it's really, really not difficult for me whatsoever. I feel like the equipment's good, the damage is great. And actually I've got some decent resist now and some decent armor. I don't have any energy shield, which I think is probably a bit of a miss. I am suffering some latency. But this guy, honestly, was so awful in previous runs. It's very, very satisfying to be smashing your bird. So the Plagueling has arrived, but I mean, barely birthed before we smashing it to pieces. We do have to be careful. There is a huge amount of damage output here. We've been pretty lucky with some of the modifiers here, like these lightning towers aren't really doing any damage whatsoever. I think one of the irritating things about some of these like shooty everywhere, bullet hell kind of situations is more like it stops your energy shield from regenerating every time you take, like it resets the energy shield. So I can see why it could be annoying. Otherwise, no drama whatsoever. Now the two options currently within the game. One is the Oracle. It's got some interesting things on the Oracle, I've got to say. I mean, there's some things here like inevitable critical hits. No idea what they mean by that. I did read up and I was like, okay, interesting. It's interesting that there are some passes on the skill tree that seem to open up, like paths. There seems to be almost more than one area that opens up some new areas on the skill tree. But this, the Shaman, as soon as I saw this Sacred Flow, I'm like, oh my god, that's so good. I don't think charms are very good in the campaign. I think you're much better off when you need the defenses for some mods on maps. Not that I'd know, but that's what I've heard people say anyway. But the Bonded is very cool, and a lot of this is rage-based as well, which I think we're going to be pushing into. I'd love to do an Apocalypse-only run, because this sounds so good. But I did that one trial and I was like, actually, I didn't do the original, the OG trial. which, as you can see here, is maybe a little bit easier than it should be because I'm so over-leveled. I could do a slightly harder version of this, but I just thought, what is the point? I'm suffering enough. I don't know why I didn't take damage then. But yeah, I picked the map. Now I know which ones to go for, and especially these kind of like hit the crystals and run through it. Easy the best thing to get through. And then we come up against Rattle Cage. At this point, I don't think I'd taken almost any damage whatsoever. Maybe I took like 1 or 2 hits, which did very little on a reduction. So I'm hoping here we can maybe have a perfect boss run. Wow, the damage. Okay, yeah, definitely the way to do it. Don't struggle with an Ascendancy at even an average level. You don't really need the points that early on. Just do it later on and you can just scream through it. So I don't really love that whole honor mechanic. I think it'd be quite nice as a season. I mean, I'm not sure, because it really does gimp the warrior so much. And any build that wants to take damage. Which I think there should be some builds that are allowed to take damage, but just as long as you do it at a higher level. Now, the reason I'm popping over here by these fruit baskets, I kind of want to see what they're got on sale. Doesn't look very appetizing. Are those crabs? What the hell? I realized I didn't actually spend all my points. So I'm going to get the bonded, and I'm going to get the extra spirit. So this is... Oh, I see. You can see here, bonded. Increased effect of fully broken armor. Oh, that's pretty cool then. And look, a lot of these like stat ones just add more to like life and mana, which is really cool. So I'm getting another like 30 life, 30 mana just from those runes that I've got in my armor. And this is absolutely the spirit we need to reactivate Herald of Ice. And we've got a little bit left over as well. So we're going to put in Clarity for that extra mana, and Vitality, which is just a great one, that 1% life regen. Really, I mean, so good for survivability within boss fights. Because within just a few, like, you know, dodge around, you just get a little bit back of your health back. Somebody tell me how to get these as wearable items. I'd love that headdress. And we're up to what I used to think, because I couldn't get past it, was the end fight of the act. It is not. But it's pretty close. Penultimate kind of fight, really. And let's see how quickly we can get through her. She should take quite a bit of damage. There's quite a few different stages to this fight as the area shrinks. But it'd be quite interesting to see how quickly you can get through some of these fights and prevent a lot of those stages from occurring. Definitely taking some decent damage, even just from the old plain shred. The nice thing about having some wolves is, while I have to make sure I'm not getting hit and just taking unnecessary damage here, my wolves can get stuck in. They are doing almost no damage whatsoever, unfortunately, and die very quickly. I'm very, very glad we're not doing a legitimate wolf skill only run, because that would be absolutely horrific. But I'm actually not sure it would be possible either. Well, I wouldn't be able to get them until level 23, so that's my excuse. But they are extraordinarily squishy and do almost no damage, so they'd be pretty useless with bleed and poison as well. We are doing a little bit of extra poison because it probably is doubling their damage output. But the real damage is just from, her being absolutely shredded by frost attacks. I'll skip to the second frost attack because me taking damage and trying to nimbly avoid a lot of the projectiles isn't the most fun. Oh my god, that cross slash looked incredible. And then we're party crashing. This is always quite cool. So it's quite an intimidating area because it's so busy, but when you're doing this much damage, it just honestly doesn't matter. I've got a huge amount of like regen with my flasks at the level they're at now. I've got that regen per second from Vitality, and we still have a little bit of lifesteal on our attack as well. Filth Fist, probably one of my favourite creatures I've come up against name-wise. Really not sure exactly what stats I should be pushing into here. Feels like I need a lot of them. But what I am doing is pushing towards pack encouragement. This, I think, from what I've heard from a lot of people saying wolves are crap, I think people are wrong. So I think that whole pack encouragement thing is incredible. So it's 5% more damage. Like little fingers there as well. That's cool. 5% more damage for each companion, which is basically the same as a minion, right? So 6 more, 30% more damage. Quick maths. And where am I now? Just doing a wee. Bam, quick in, cross slash, back. Back to my little weak spot. Testing pit. We're at the end, at least of Act 3. Early damage to Doriani, very, very comfortable. Until it is I take a huge amount of lightning damage, which unfortunately will be a bit of a theme of my first fight, where for whatever reason I'm failing to look at my life and get absolutely shredded by a singular lightning attack. My lightning resist is actually 39 as well. It's just a real idiot for standing there. Chaos resist non-existent at this point. A bit embarrassing. Second time round, we know what we're doing now. We're just not going to stand in lightning attacks when they come our way. Easier said than done. Fortunately, Doriani's Triumph can get frozen just almost as easily as Doriani could, so... And the damage taken there, I mean, this looks... For an end of act boss, this looks fine. I'd be curious to know how much more damage some people are able to do. I should be a bit closer here for this particular bit. But look at this, basically getting 10% frost build up every attack. I need to be a bit cautious, because I know that bloody floating cannon is going to hit me at some point. Yeah, there we go. As long as I'm staying on the move. The annoying thing is I really want to spend as much time as possible when they're frozen, doing as much damage as I possibly can. And when you're having to do things like now, I can see I need to just avoid that lightning. I mean, I almost got killed by it again, and that would have been a particularly frustrating timing. But no great drama for anyone who's got their brain switched on, especially with this build. I do think this is actually quite good fun to play. I'm still really enjoying myself. To be honest, all the way into the prelude acts, I was still having a really, really good time. And the damage, man, exponential. New Vegas crossover here. Did I hear they're remaking New Vegas? Fallout New Vegas. I don't know. I don't know how that game has suddenly taken on a new life. It was so good. And then it was largely ignored. I don't know why it's suddenly... Well, I know what it should do. It just seems weird that the world has kind of woken up to how good it is. And now it's, you know, going to be part of the TV series. And I think they're making a remake. I might be wrong on that. I'm sorry. But look, I'm going back, just getting that flame core. And then we're going to make our way to Act 4. So let's quickly talk about Rocky 4. It's so good as a movie. It cannot be underrated. I was going to talk about He-Man, but this is so good. The training montage is the best training montage in any Rocky movie. It's so good. So just, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Anyway, it's already dripping with loot. Not any loot I'm going to be using, but it's always nice finding unique items. Evanclaw the Hateful was so easy on my punch-only run. It was very odd to find this a lot harder. The issue was, I don't really have a way of dealing with mobs without attacking them directly. And there are just a huge amount. It was like a container ship missing a container of crossbows for the amount of crossbows that seem to have turned up here. So I'm trying my best to spend some time... Quickly nab that in case something goes wrong. I'm trying my best to attack Evanclaw the Hateful, but I'm just taking so much damage from these crossbow lads. I think then at that point that he's been killed because something else dropped, but then I realised he was just frozen in the middle of them all. I'm wasting so much time having to attack all these other guys. I even used my Arctic Howl then, which was very rare for me, so something must be going wrong. At least with the walls here, they should be able to potentially soak up some of the aggro. It looks like he's about to get stunned as well, Evanclaw, although that might be too little too late for him. Nice, and a very epic conclusion to that fight. Viper caps as well seem to be really popular. I don't know if they were just popular in a particular season. I think they're like lizard kind of helms. And I love anything. I love any traps like this. My only issue is there aren't 500 of them descending on you like there should be. Should be a real punishment. Now look, we all know that there's 3 bananas. Where's the 3rd banana? There's the second banana. Is there inside? Somebody help me find another banana. I know they've put more bananas in this place. Everyone's acting like there's not a banana on the wall. There's a guy here wearing a dress. That's fine. Nothing against that. And these 2 guys are drunk on banana juice. But where? is a third banana. I looked everywhere because I really wanted to see. Is it up on a roof somewhere? I know there's another banana here. I just know it in my heart. Somebody, what the hell is she doing over there? Wow. Okay, she's looks like she's dealing with someone's banana. And she is again. Hey, look, we've all got to make a living. Good on her. Providing a service. Oh, look at this little artwork. So look, I'm reason why I'm flashing this up immediately is because I've got AI to try and upscale some of this. I tried to find the original to see if I could find it, and the best I could get was this. I won't read it, but it was interesting because I really did want to try and find the pictures, but it does look like it's two pictures that have been stapled together for that image. And look at this little cat. DLC confirmed.
How long have you been bound here?
Longer than I can fathom.
I do quite like the desperation in the voice actress there. She's very cool. Because there are hints, I think, from her dialogue and stuff. An element of kind of desperation. Captain Hartlin. With the single coolest attack in the game, if you ask me. Which I'm probably very likely to get hit by. Now, I'm always a bit concerned when you get into a new act that they're going to suddenly up the difficulty massively. It looks like we're still doing okay. He's definitely pretty tanky. Unfortunately, he's actually very susceptible to the frost, which is such an important part of our damage dealing. Like, once those first crystals start exploding and we're still, like, they're still frozen and doing a lot of damage, we're actually having fun. He's the kind of boss I don't necessarily want to die against as well. It feels a little bit stressful. Maybe it feels a little bit like an actual skill test. Fortunately, the damage 952 doesn't seem to have gone up. It's probably because I'm in town and the wolves aren't here. 952 to... Okay, 1137. See, I think that is decent. I think you can get a huge amount of wolves later on, and that's going to be 80% more damage. So that's why I think wolves are good. Although I do think that spirit cost is very high for what they do. Which, to me, the only basic utility... They're not a great distraction. The basic utility of the wolves is in that kind of extra 5% damage node on the skill tree. Never 100% sure what to do with the skill gems, but it doesn't really matter at this point.
The earth feels...
I just have to get out. It's been too long.
Yeah, there's definitely like elements. I mean, unfortunately, at that point, you kind of know. And if you've ever done it before, you know she's going to betray you. Well, not necessarily betray, but you know she's not quite who she claims to be. This is just a cool... It's very cool. I mean, the first time this happened, I was like honestly super surprised by it. So, really paid off. Quite like these little creatures as well. I think it's very cool. These grey kind of Cthulhu-esque creatures are very cool. I do wish they'd play a little bit more with scale in this game. Maybe they do in some of the map bosses, but I really like the bosses that are just absolutely huge. And I quite like it if the environments were a bit different as well. As in, like, you had to like travel to different places or run away from bosses at certain times, things like that. I know if they ever added something like that, everyone would hate it. Stupid gimmick bosses. What's the one in Dark Souls that everyone hates? Bed of Chaos? Is it? Everyone thinks it's just such an awful gimmick fight. Stupid. I always thought it was quite good. Nice to have something a bit different, at least, rather than the old usual stuff. Well, I'm surprised they haven't added a few more shrines in the game. This kind of like taster you get here never feels like enough. But it's nice that it's here, but it just feels a bit weird. Maybe it's like harking back to the first time you kind of... I don't know if it's the first time you find shrines in Path of Exile 1. It's been a very long time since I played it, but I don't know, this kind of area feels a lot like Path of Exile 1. I think maybe you realise at a certain point during this whole island hopping that a lot of this is based on areas in Path of Exile 1. And the shrines, of course, I do remember you find shrines on the kind of seagull-lined cliff tops in the first act. That looks incredible, doesn't it? It looks so cool. And then we're hoping this is going to be as pedestrian as the first time we had to fight this particular guy. And by the first time, I mean the first time with this character, not the first time I ever fought it with Liam Sneeson, which was one of the most painful experiences of my professional YouTube career, and amateur, and unprofessional. Okay, the damage seems good. I do need to be really careful of the actual damage that the Scourge of the Skies is able to inflict. Some of those ridiculous abilities. Nice to see the plate can go down that quickly, though. That is very good. Now, do I need to be concerned? Not quite sure what's happening now. Yeah, that's the danger attack. I don't think it could one-shot me. I've got over 1,000 hit points, but stranger things have happened. A lot of the time, it's getting hit by one thing and then panicking and then getting hit by something else. So, because of the place I'm at in the fight, which is pretty close to the end already, it's not been too painful to get to this point beforehand. I'm not panicking at all. Super calm. Yes, I mean, and this is just so satisfying. Get wrecked. Oh, Matiki's here. I wonder if that happens, maybe it's the first boss you fight. Matiki comes up. First, like, I don't know, island boss. But I remember him being a cage next to the, like, voltaic eating guy. Do you know, I'm actually dreading the boss at the end of this. That's a really, really tough fight. This environment is one of my favourites, I've got to say. How that tree survived, I don't know. All that salty air. Well, actually, it looked like it hadn't survived, but a bit weird to have a tree there getting pelted with seawater. It's slowed down, which isn't great. The good thing is I'm freezing these guys almost immediately, so we can pounce, freeze, shred, and move on. Decent experience as well. Let's jump straight up here. I mean, that is cool. Like, is it over already? Oh no, here we go. Pharrell, the Soul Keeper. Gone. Gone but not forgotten. Who? Oh wow, and this was really cool. Gigantic minions. It didn't even matter if this was going to gimp it completely. The idea of being able to have massive minions. Unfortunately, spirit was a little bit of an issue, so I had to remove overwhelming presence. And remind me to come back to this one day. 98% cold resistance you can get, and it penetrates. I probably should have put this on at some point during this playthrough, and I can't remember if I get to it eventually. I think I probably forgot, but that is an insane amount of cold resistance. So nice to be able to get like unique items to just solve one problem completely. And this armor increases elemental damage. That was kind of what I felt could be quite good for us. I'm not quite sure how mechanics like that exactly work, but by the end of this, the damage was so ridiculous that I think it must have been doing something. And here, what am I looking for? Well, look, the life leech is actually one of the more important parts of that, even though I know it's probably not doing too much. But the cold damage, life, lightning resist, these are all just subsidizing some of the resistances and other things I don't necessarily have in excess. But life is looking pretty good. I think the best way to play this would be to have like 60-70% of your defenses to be life, but then actually use that energy shield as well. And unfortunately, I just didn't seem to have any items that benefited the energy shield. Defeated Honor Face before I really got a chance to discuss his life, but what a great name that is. Actually, I went to the beach recently and I found on like normally by the tide submerged steps, huge amount of like very, very small mussels, but tens of thousands of them. It was so cool. So this area has earned a level of legitimacy with the amount of like barnacles and stuff that seem to like it in their tidal areas. Quick waste of the blister there. Now, I'm a bit scared of this boss because of how challenging it is, but with 9 lads with me, we've got to be laughing surely. It pains me to see that I'm not using Arctic Howl even now because the frost build-up's so slow. And just would help me massively just to get that frost build up, and then I could probably cast it again. Prisoner Frozen, now would be the best place to use Arctic Howl, then shred to pieces, and all of these guys would be doing a massive amount more damage. I think that's another thing, like the walls need to be subsidized with their attack, and actually Arctic Howl adds basically cold damage to everyone. Unfortunately, by this point in the fight, most of my wolves have been knocked out, so I'm only stuck with the 4 regenerating ones from the spirit gem. God, I couldn't talk them. But the prisoner is getting absolutely wrecked. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I'm still concerned. I should, in many ways, save my pounce. Oh, I've been a bit preemptive there. That's risky. If it happens now, we're in trouble. Well, I don't really remember at what breakpoints the prisoner ends up saying, use the blister on me, or whatever prompt there is. Okay, here we go. We should be able to do some pretty decent damage here. I just wish I was using Arctic Howl for that extra cold damage, because we've got 4, it'd be 5 of us augmented massively with that extra damage. Again, I almost used the blister again, would have been really embarrassing. A little bit preemptive. Oh, annoying getting hit by that as well. Here we go, use a ballista. I guess all of his health back. Does that always happen? The guy must have you probably get through at least 250,000 health. At least we've got that pounce, which will be quite good for getting out, so we can dodge and then maybe pounce if we really need to get out of his regenerating area, which we know is going to happen in the 3rd stage of the fight. If we even get to the 3rd stage, because we might be able to kill him. That'd be really cool if we could kill him without even getting there. I'm pretty certain it's not going to be able to happen like that. We should be pretty close to ballista use. I'm not in a great position there. A little bit of delay. So he looks like he always goes back to like 70% health. So there's not much I can do about that. The main thing here is we're just really careful of that. Jamming his staff in the middle of the ground and having that healing aura. This is the one. Well, I mean, it is wide as well. It's very easy to get, as I was almost clicked against that, like the outcrop of the ballista there. But this is the only attack I need to worry about. And now I can kind of enjoy myself. I can pounce, mark, and try and get a little bit of frost damage in. Luckily, I've got a decent frost resistance myself. It's still a long fight. I mean, I'm doing a huge amount of damage when I do the damage. A lot of that is only when I get that frost build up. Let's get out of there for that. Thank goodness that attack isn't influenced by minions. Otherwise, this would actually be impossible. I do believe that was the case in previous patches, that he would heal off minions, basically making the fight completely ridiculous and impossible, I'm guessing, if you had any minions on. But thankfully they've patched that. Okay, do we need to be concerned at this point? See, this point I'm so worried. I'm not in a great position here either. He's doing it. Oh my, and that was lucky. I was basically staying out of the different attack there. That benefited me when the slammy staff, I'm going to heal myself with 50% of my life attack, comes in. Okay, this could be good. This could be all the damage I need, in fact. We're not in a great position. We probably need to just get a little bit close to that blister up the top. Okay, I'm getting really nervous. Is he going to heal? No. Oh my god. I'm just so worried he's going to do the attack. Let's just keep my pounce maybe in case I need to get out of here. Is that him? Is that... Go, get out of there. Oh my goodness, that was close. Okay, at least we can kind of enjoy ourselves now. Get him frozen. Get the ballista. Oh, he's healing up. He's going to heal. Oh, I missed it. Oh, thank goodness. Man, the stress of that. It's such a stressful fight. Take a clean there. Hanging onto the ceiling. I don't think I got a chance to kill Claw Crunch last time. I think he killed me and never came back. So hopefully this should be a revenge for Liam Neeson. I did really enjoy, well, actually, I'm not sure if I enjoyed it, but I'm really glad at the achievement of doing the punch-only run. That's got to be one of the best challenges I did the whole of last year. Nice. And this is a really good one, just extra cold damage. I am pretty much stacking cold where possible, so I'm hoping that extra cold damage will help my frost build up as well. Even just a little bit. I'm showing you the Great White one. It's a really rubbish fight. I really think it needs to get rethought. I think there are some good attacks in there as well. And it's actually a very cool creature. But I don't love it. I think it's quite a boring fight. Not particularly difficult. There's a lot of like, oh, just stay out of the way attacks. And this guy released from his cage, sorry, and he just didn't do anything. I'm not even going to show you me killing him because he doesn't deserve it. I will show you those, the liquid physics on the lava though looks so good. Oh, nice. And we're still cracking. Levels are coming thick and fast. Now, I've got to... Maybe I can sneak around these guys. Is there a way of just tricking one? I think they're both part of the same rock formation, aren't they? God knows what they've been doing with one another. Hard, I'm sure, both of them. A muscly bum on the one on the top left there. That's the content you're looking for. Whoa, that was a bit anticlimactic. So I thought he was dead. Energy shield aura. Okay, that's cool. Extra fire damage probably is a little bit dangerous as well when they're kind of augmented by their odor element. I mean that it's ridiculous. Frost lasted so long. Didn't have a chance. I love this area. Love this as a base. Accidentally turned my loot filter off there. Get some more hate mail for that. And blue dog. This is cool as well. It really reminds me of Lord of the Rings, like the Mines of Moria. I really need to play that game again. It's not perfect, but there's a lot to love about it. I just love the Lord of the Rings. As everyone does, by the way. I've really not met anybody that doesn't love it. Rings of Power. Okay. I get you. I enjoyed it. So mana's becoming a little bit of an issue. Damage, still very decent. I'm going to show you this little build up here. It's so cool. The shop, by the way, on this island is incredible. I mean, look at this. All resist, all resist. I mean, maybe it's not great, but it's pretty good. If you're lacking resists, oh, propaganda's made it this way. This is probably my favourite spot. It's just got a vibe. Maybe there's that growing up by the sea kind of. It just looks like a really idyllic version on a nice sunny day. Playing in rock pools and stuff. So cool. Can't I see the bottom? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I've not actually got very far in this before. Previously, I died against the first few creatures and just didn't feel this was right for Liam Neeson. This time round, even with the stink grin in the way, oh man, and this is actually where the turtles reside. I mean, how he skated through these tight tunnels, I'm not quite sure. Oh, there's some damage there as well. I've got to be a bit careful. This is cool. It's just like little, like, I don't know, wave trials. Not sure if I'm in love with it, I'll be honest. I did really like the environment. I thought it looked a little cool, like lava lake to the side there. It looks pretty cool. And you can see the little like glowing eyes of the, what are they, Kadamas? From, do you know, I can't remember. Is that Princess Mononoke? I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I need to see that movie again. I'm a big Studio Ghibli fan, as nearly everybody should be, right? But Princess Mononoke is definitely up there. I think Nausicaa is the best, I'll be honest. It's a fight I'm willing to have. To me, Nausicaa has everything. And the English voice acting is also really good as well. Patrick Stewart. And it has, what's that kid called? Shia LaBeouf? I think it's got Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, he's not really a kid. He's probably the same age as me, but he was young once. And he's presumably quite young in that when he's doing the voice acting. This guy looks like he's got some incredible regeneration, by the way. Absolute regen build. And another Viper cap. Just wanted to show this off. I'm not going to go into showing the temple off anymore. I'm absolutely sick of it. But This is very cool. I don't quite understand why this happened this time around. Maybe after a certain amount of time. I will show you the vault area, which is super cool.
That's all much of a muchness.
The patterns in the gold are quite
It looks so cool.
until next
Yeah, and that's why we do it. It's just the consistent exalted orbs. It means you can upgrade your equipment so often. So, and let's indulge ourselves with a 3-slot Wolfpack skill there as well. Upgrading the old Golem Vow there as well. I mean, it's just... I don't need any more. Look, that's an old... it's a cool little carving shop. Little dildo there they've made. Not a great well, this one. But this is from one kind of trip. I mean, it is decent. And finally we get to the end of this little area. I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen when we get to the end. 'Cause it's a bit of a journey to get here. Not really worth it for the rune, I'll be honest. But it carries on. We get this little, like, weirdness. What is going on? Oh, I see. We've got to get the Chinese audience on board. Bit of Wukong. See, I mean, I didn't find any of this area before. So it's cool in a way to be able to see everything. I think actually with a character that can get through the campaign quickly enough, then you can see so much more. You don't get too bogged down with like, oh, how long it's taking. So the variation in bosses and enemies and environments feels like it comes at a really good pace. Yeah, with the white, not really sure if I'm enjoying myself in this fight. It feels a little bit silly. I think the annoying thing is, like, if there is some just bullshit mechanic, Q bullshit mechanic, then I just think, okay, well, what am I doing here? I mean, for whatever reason, I don't get hit by that then, what I should have done. It would have been better if I got one shot by that, so I could then learn to not get one shot later in the fight, which, spoiler, does happen. It's a cool little environment. I think I probably didn't realise when the area, when the boss fight's over. So here's the bullshit mechanic. Okay, what should I do? I mean, I ended up running out because I just don't understand. I thought I needed to get behind the pillar maybe because that worked last time, but that seemed to be more of a bug. But anyway, the second time I fought him, I just didn't get hit by that stupid bit. But what I did have to do is this. Great, this is really good. Running around and really, really complicated. I mean, what is going... Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah, I just... For all of the effort. But the best part is the voice acting. Actually, the damage we're doing now is pretty decent. And with those 2 extra skill points... Oh, 1600! Freaking good. I really like the tree here as well. I think it's a Warata. Definitely like Australian, New Zealand, Polynesian type tree. The voice acting, by the way, of that, I could go through them all. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Just going to jump up here. So uncool. Stick my head right in this clam. We know what's going to happen when we do that. But yeah, the voice acting of the little, I don't know, the island, and there's a few little diary entries or whatever. It's really good. Really good. Really recommend it. I'm having to kind of rush here. There's a new patch update coming out. And I'm having such an easy time of it, I just assumed that they were definitely going to nerf the wolf. And then, of course, I have the worst possible run in this area. I cannot find the way up at all. I think, oh, it must be up here. It's got to be in this little area here. Let's just crack through this. The last creature in this area, and it's not here. Oh my god, she ends up being on all the way to the other side. So we've got 25 minutes to get through as much of this as possible before this character gets completely gimped. At least that's what I'm imagining in my head. I'm finally having quite a good time in this game, so expecting a massive damage nerf imminently. So unfortunately, Daimora, I mean, it's a very cool... It's actually one of the better fights in the game. It's very, very cool. Unfortunately, there are little, like, scripted moments where you have to get through the song. which is cool. Again, a very great, like, cool thing. The only problem is I want to get through this fight as quickly as possible because I've got, at this point, maybe 20 minutes left until I have to wait for that patch update, and I've just got a bad feeling about it. But even getting pelted, I mean, normally I'm just used to getting, like, frosted myself. I did at the very end there, get a little bit of frost build up. It was actually a little harder to sort out the ads on this because I could actually kill them, unlike with Liam Neeson where I couldn't. It was much harder there, having to balance actually killing stuff and then not getting hit by the mermaid kind of, which I've never been hit by before, so I don't actually know what it does, but I'm hoping it's an instant kill because that'd be cool. Well, we've made it to this lovely little holiday village. Unfortunately, as with most holiday destinations, it's full of foreigners, so we'll have to clear them out. We'll have to devalue the house prices with a few strategic murders, and then we can really just have a wander around the town without getting too interrupted. I'd love to go. It's quite deep winter where I am right now, and it's cold, really pretty cold. Unfortunately, in the UK, it gets cold, but the weather doesn't really change that much. It doesn't look too different. It just is very, very cold outside. See, I've actually got my shop up and running there. Very, very rare. Look at this little graffiti. Oh, it looks like a warning not to mishandle scrolls. I mean, what is this kid doing? One-handed. It's going to fly away in the wind. Anyone can read that as well. No wonder my wolf's having conniptions. Running past the lavender-scented cliffs. I just generally really like this area. It just got that kind of beautiful European holiday feel. Really looks like an idyllic Italian village. And as with all Italian villages, unfortunately, populated with Italians. Once again, we've got a bit of a restart coming. It's the same restart, by the way. I'm just trying to crack these. Unfortunately, I've had to cut my holiday short. I'm trying to get through as much as possible. If I can get through Torvian, then I'll be happy. Because Torvian might otherwise be a bit unpleasant. It'd be nice to get as far as Benedictus, just towards the end of the act, because then that's pretty much his penultimate boss time before the patch hits. And my wolves get buffed, and my damage gets nerfed. It's cool. I mean, it's a weird one, this Holy Vengeance, as you crash through that mirror. Increased critical strike potential on you, something like that. Kind of a weird mechanic to be to introduce. Unfortunately, Torvian, despite his ability to be buffed by all of the boys around him, very popular with the boys. Fortunately, he is not destined to last very long. He's not really wearing the clothes for the climate either. Very heavy cloak. So this is actually post-patch. The patch was not anything to get worried about, you'll be pleased to know. So we cannot, we don't need to panic too much at this point. One of the big issues I had actually is the sound in this. I don't know if it just kept getting louder and quieter all the time. I'm sure it's my settings rather than anything else. It might just be because I'm not keeping my sound level consistent when I record. So apologies if it kind of jumps up and down. I generally try and keep the game audio down quite low, but I don't want it to be so low that you don't know what's going on. So Benedictus. Come on, boys. Come on, lads. Lads! Come on! Oh no, they've clipped. Oh, it doesn't look like they even took any damage. Probably because they couldn't be bothered to program in the pathfinding, so they were like, just make the minions take no damage. I don't know if that's true, by the way, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't the case. Benedictus getting absolutely dicked here. Shredded to pieces. Unfortunately, we have to go through a little bit more maze nonsense. Come on, lads, we can make it through. Come on, come on. The problem is they can't squeeze through that little gap there. This is another one of those. Well, I don't know what you need. Like something like a really, really long, like 3-hour-long dungeon where the boss mechanics get increasingly more obscure, and then things like that will be like, can your brain like work quickly enough? It did. Well, I'll tell you what. The first time I fought him, he did not. Well, let's just have a look at this little boulder drop mechanic. Oh, I didn't even. Lads. Unbelievable. They definitely need nerfing. That's so cool, that. Goru is unlikely to be able to save you from that. Whoa, nice. The ancestors judge him. He says he judges him guilty, slices him in half. So we're up against the Butcher. Actually, a lot of damage with this guy, but he's got Act 1 kind of speed mechanics. I've died to him before. Most skills now level 14 to 15. Wolf pack, we can get up to 13. Actually, that's 4 to 5 wolves. Big. That is, as we well know now, another 5% damage. To me, by having that wolf just around. So that's 5% pretty much all the time. Those, like, the main wolves don't really seem to die too often. I mean, when they get hit by a decent attack by a boss, then yeah, I get it. But they come back after only a few seconds. Now this Lunar Blessing, we finally unlocked Lunar Blessing. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be because we're pretty much right at the end of the campaign. Lunar Blessing, by the way, is incredible. Really enjoyed it in the Prelude acts, sorry. Rage, unfortunately, is the mechanic that it really relies upon. And it isn't something I've spec'd into almost at all at this point. But something I will be enjoying. It looks incredible, by the way. Absolutely incredible. Oh, do we want to get the Val? I think I skipped the Val runes. I'm so near the end. The last thing I want to do is have a whole other journey just to the same ruins I've completely screwed up in terms of design. It's just not fun at all. Especially we're on the very, very end now. Tavakai. So there's 10 wolves here. Absolutely chewing the guy to pieces. Damage is insane. Guy's barely getting a hit off. Not, unfortunately, frost resistant enough. I mean, not just the Lunar Blessing him. And there we go, we're finally using everything together as we should be. And this is pretty much full damage. We could do, whoa, my goodness me, the damage is incredible. All right, let's see if we can just get into position so when he knocks us over, he runs us down. Oh, that's perfect positioning. Oh, he even knocks our wolves out of the way. That's cool. I do like this area. I don't love it. I feel like for the final fight, the little house at the beginning is cool, but this little area, I don't love. I would like there to be maybe a choice of like saving or sacrificing his daughter. Can't remember her name, sorry. But then that would actually take you maybe to a different act completely. I mean, like those prelude acts, keep them in, but have them separate. Like, oh, if you make one decision, you go to one, you make another decision, you go to another. That'd be cool. It would add a lot of replayability. I think it's a bit late now because we've all, well, I say we all, I've finally done it. But yeah, things like that I think would be pretty cool in this game. More like discovery and choices, things like that. Anything to maybe distract from the divine or grind the end game, which it feels like a lot of people get a bit preoccupied with. His face is not that intimidating. It's got that kind of maybe Resident Evil arcade feel. It's definitely got that kind of emo haircut. Really looking forward to his emo album to come out after this. So thank you, friends, as always, for watching me for so long. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't subscribed, then please do that. I have done the Prelude Acts. If you want to see that, then you've got to let me know in the comments. And if you've got any other ideas for challenge runs in this game or any other, then please let me know. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.
Set off, felt for one day.